It's Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. In Ward 3 in Riverside City, we are sitting in the ward of this guy. He is Mike Soubirous. He is a member of the Riverside City Council. Thank you for inviting us to your ward.
Oh, absolutely.
We have a nice facility in Riverside here at Charter Communications. I want to speak with you about government and good government. A lot of discussion about creating sunshine, allowing the public to be aware of what will be discussed in city councils. What is the current law today under state law?
Well, under state law, it's a 72-hour rule. In other words, you have to be able to post what is going to be on a council agenda or meeting agenda 72 hours out.
Okay, so interestingly, Riverside meets every week.
Yes.
And so that means, you meet on, is it Tuesdays?
Yes.
So the Friday, is it essentially?
Usually it's usually posted about Thursday afternoon,
Okay,
so that it meets that Friday obligation.
Of course. So a few days before you see what's going to be on the agenda.
Yes.
But recently your city manager proposed, a new city manager by the way, that there be a 12-day rule.
Yes.
And the city council ultimately codified that. Is that accurate, sir?
Yes.
Talk to me about that. 12 days. I mean, if you do the math, that means you are putting out the agenda for a meeting that is 2 weeks in advance, essentially.
Yes.
There's going to be an intervening meeting.
Yes.
And that agenda is coming out for the meeting that's after that one
Yes.
meeting. Did I say that right?
Yes. It sounds complicated, but that's what it is.
Why?
The idea of a sunshine ordinance, you know, hence the name sunshine,
Right.
to shine the light on what government is doing. Great idea. It's done in a lot of places. The idea for us is to get information out to the council members and the public to be able to look through what is going to be on
Right.
the agenda. The problem with 3 days is often with Riverside being a 320,000 close to
Right.
population, it's very complex. There's a lot going on. And generally we have iPads that we can look through, but if you take the paper version of the same documents, it can be 4 inches thick.
Really?
Because it has a lot of background information, a lot of history, a lot of other things, you know, should you need to drill
Right.
down. But I mean, it's very overwhelming in a sense to be able to get through all this. If it's a very complex week and there's a lot of really big items on the agenda, it can take your entire weekend. And staff's not available generally, although we got a lot of good staffers, higher ranking, that will answer their email. But you know, you look for one on Monday, they're all kind of busy, and other council members are looking for maybe that answer to that same question. And then Tuesday rolls around and bingo, you're done.
So is the 12 days for the benefit of the members, the public, the staff? Who benefits?
I would say probably it would be a little tough on staff, but definitely for the members and definitely for the public.
So how has this been received? Because again, it is a little confusing. It's for the 2 meetings in advance.
Yes. Well, we initiated having staff put this on. It was done administratively by our city manager. And so last Tuesday, which was one of our meetings, the 12-day rule had been invoked for them as far as staff members to put things on. And I might add that staff puts about 98% of what goes on the agenda forward. Okay. Council generally, you know, they're not putting that many things forward unless there's a problem or we need to address policy or procedure or something.
And let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because there are times where council does want to put something on the agenda, and they may not have those 12 days notice. It could be something that's happened in the ward, in the district. And so what was the rule before this ordinance went forward? If you wanted to put something on before, what was the rule?
Right, as long as I followed the 72-hour rule and dropped it off to the city clerk, or you know, it was discussed in some way or by memo form, as long as it was in before that Thursday night posting, it was good to go.
Was there an emergency provision? Let's say something happened over the weekend.
Yes. Emergency provision is there, and so is a special meeting that you could call. But again, you need concurrence with others to be able to notify, and there's last-minute stuff. It would cost a lot of money for staff to be, rung up and basically spool this thing up to have a special meeting and make the notice.
So what's the rule now under the ordinance if you want to get something on that agenda after the 12 days?
Right, after the 12 days. In other words, between 12 days and 3 days. If I want to put something on as an agenda, all I have to do, if I feel it's important enough that we need to discuss a policy or procedure because we need to get to it before the meeting that the agenda for the 12 days is set for, that next upcoming meeting, all I have to do is get a co-signer of a peer and we're good to go.
What about 3 days to 0 days?
Can't do that unless it would be like some type of an emergency thing. And again, emergency meetings are for those rare instances like, you know, maybe we've experienced an officer-involved shooting and maybe we've lost an officer, you know, tragically, or something like that.
What do you think of the requirement that you need a colleague to sign on?
I personally had a problem with it because I can envision some problems in that, being that we're elected by ward, we're not at large.
Right.
Let's say there's an issue that gets brought forward by the people that live in Ward 3, for instance, or there's an issue that comes up that I know is germane to the people that live there, and one of us bring it forward, I bring it forward for them, and the other wards maybe are, well, we don't want to play. That's not something we're interested in. I mean, good government shouldn't hinge on I scratch, your back, you scratch mine kind of thing, because if you have too much go along, get along, then it's, you want to be able to get along. I don't mean that aspect. But sometimes you have to have a contrary view, and it's a contrary view.
But let me ask, this whole notion of sunshine and wanting to give as much notice, is it a red herring at a certain level? I mean,
I guess it could be. I mean, think about the idea of a administrator that works for us, the council, putting something like that forward that looks really great, got great window dressing. I'm not putting down what's been done. It's a great thing to do. But moving it forward, what council member is going to go, well, I don't really like this idea for us.
Right.
And carving ourselves out, some council members were concerned, well, we shouldn't make a rule for us that doesn't apply to the public. And I said, well, if that's the case, then we should be limited to the 3-minute rule, and why don't you sit down in the audience?
Well, okay, well,
I mean, we're elected by the people that represent them and conduct the business. And I understand the sensitivity there, but I don't want to stifle the residents' voice so that they can't come forward and say, something happened here at day 12 and now it's day 11. Whoa, wait a minute, we got to take care of this and we got to discuss this before we get there.
One would hope, last year was a bit rocky, but you all seem to get along fairly well, no?
Yes.
And is the mayor someone that can be a second for the 12 to 3 days?
According to the rules, it says that we can. Between all of us, we can.
So the mayor could act as a diplomat, arguably speaking. Right. I mean, y'all could be diplomats, but
absolutely.
Do you see this type of sunshine ordinance proliferating?
I would say so. I think that just some of the things that Riverside City has done has started to spill over into the county, as far as televising some of the meetings of the boards, commissions, and things at the county level, which we've already started doing. And so they've thought, hey, this is a good idea. Let's do that. I think it's the era of bringing more sunshine in on some of these decisions, which is a good thing, so that people have participation.
So where do you go from here on this question? Does more need to be done? Because again, I really wonder whether discussions of sunshine just take away from discussions of meatier issues, if I can say that.
I understand. And just to be clear, going back on the sunshine ordinance, what I proposed was something where you didn't need a co-signer, but it had specific little things, caveats that it had to be discussion item, couldn't be about money, couldn't be, some type of contracts, things like that, just basically of a discussion of policy and procedure. So mine was more restrictive. But going on to this, I just see that, moving forward, the thing that I think we need to put the sunshine on, that I would like to see, and I'm going to propose, is on our agendas, the agenda setting conferences. We don't have any hard and fast rules. And what that is no, that's picking, once, like, let's say we put something forward to be discussed, and again, keep in mind this thing is that it would go on this immediate meeting. Most of the time we're going to put something in, let staff work on it, or we're going to work on it, and we're good with 12 days. Some things I've put forward to be discussed that are on the 5-month, they're now going to be heard after 5 months.
Why?
It's just timing, because you can only get so much done in a meeting. Our meeting recently went to 11:30. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it started at 1 p.m.
Seriously?
Yes. Yes.
His name is Mike Soubirous. He is a member of the Riverside City Council. My name is Brad Pomerance. Of course, if you want to watch more episodes of our program, you can always go to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/charterlocaledition. Mike gets all his links. He puts them on Facebook and Twitter. I'm going to get you this one, I promise. My name is Brad Pomerance. This is Charter Local Edition.